is about the second half. I'm so sorry. My heart's beating out of my chest, so that's okay. So Julia touched on the Serenity Prayer, and I wanted to ask you guys regarding the second and third parts, which are the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Yesterday, we talked in our Dharma share about war and the human condition and all the suffering that exists, and how the seeds are within us, and how working and nurturing the good seeds is the place to start. My question is.
Sorry, it's a bit fast for me.
I'm sorry. My question is how you know what are the things that you can change and when you should try and change them. Because we learned a lot about not discriminating, not subscribing to the duality. So if we're not evaluating whether things are good or bad, but we, in general, want to lessen suffering, how do we work with that contradiction? Is that a contradiction that we just accept?
The contradiction.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because there's both you don't want to make a value judgment as in this is good or this is bad. That's something that I talked previously with the monastics about. But at the same time, we know that we want to alleviate suffering. So the idea is that you're not making the judgment. I forgot who I talked to, but they said like, oh, even going to the bathroom can produce a negative impact that you're not necessarily conscious of. We aren't the ones to make that determination, but we can determine, like Tai did, to reduce the suffering by helping children in the street during the war. How do you guys make that distinction? When is it good? I don't know if I explained myself clearly. I got very nervous.
Many questions in one.
Sorry, thank you.
Dear friends, it's quite a big question. It's something like, I'm not even sure if you cannot say there is no good and no bad, or and for me it is the most important to be able to connect with the love inside and the compassion inside. When we can feel love and compassion, I think that is the right way to act from, and then our action can have a lot of impact. And if the action comes from anger, hatred, fear, and then the result will be less good. And because it will create more anger, hatred and fear. So for me the practice is accept feeling, to take care to be able to take care of what is in me. Like our friend said, I felt that is a very interesting question, starting with the ice cream and ending with the skin color at customs. So seeing that actually this is related. And it is easier to start with the ice cream. To practice with the ice cream is easier than to practice with a very big thing. So I think if I keep it a little bit smaller than the whole world and more, I see that in monastic life we have a lot of opportunity to feel things that we don't want to accept, that are absolutely unacceptable. And they come from our own brothers and sisters. But they are absolutely unacceptable. Anyway, that is how I feel it. You see? So, yes, so that is the best environment to learn how to accept the unacceptable in my environment. Because somebody says something, do something, and it hit me so strong. I mean, it's so painful. Yes, and then that is an art, and I cannot say that I mastered it perfectly, even after a long time in monastery. So it is just a training to not react right away and to stop and to take time and to just breathe with the feeling in the body, like the feeling of pain, and just to be able to breathe with it without trying to stop it, but just to let it be and to acknowledge that, yeah, there is pain, and without trying to change it. And this practice of just like feeling there is pain, acknowledging there is pain, smiling to it, and just it is there, and being able to breathe with it. For me, that is a very important practice, because that is like to train our muscles to accept bigger pain, because the pain in the world is very, very, very big. So if we want to change the pain in the world, we need to first train our muscles to change the pain that we meet in our daily relationship, which is expressively big in our feeling, in my feeling, the pain that I feel in my daily interactions with my very kind brothers and sisters, who are all practitioners, who all go the path of love and understanding. But sometimes the things that they do, it costs me a lot of pain. And so, yeah, that is already something, because the easy thing is either to put it aside, or to do something else, or to blame, or to like react strongly. And actually it doesn't help. And to put it under something, it will come up also to kind of put it aside. Just to be able to breathe with it, for me, is already something. And to say, yes, there is suffering. This is the first noble truth. There is suffering. There's a lot of suffering. Yeah. And after that, breathing, because things are impermanent. There is the suffering, but when you stay with it long enough, it goes down and it changes something else. That is also very interesting. So it changes something else, and then afterwards, like maybe some days after, the same person or the same something is happening, but actually it can be a different emotion. And there can happen something that person says or does on another situation, and then suddenly I understand why they did like this. Then, oh, yes, they have a lot of suffering. That is why they did like this, and yes, they couldn't do differently. And so that makes me change something in how I can receive and how I can accept. Because after I have seen that, then I can, it's easier to find a way to change or to communicate. Because then I have been able to touch love and understanding. So, yes, and I was thinking today or yesterday, I was thinking, it's a little bit political, but well, I was thinking about a big politician in the world, and who said, very simple, no?
Trump?
Also simple. Well, just somebody who said, actually, this is somebody, and then actually many people around are the same, we are the same, but we don't say it like that. They say, like, yes, everybody needs to pay so much for something, and that one is bad because they do that, but we don't need to pay. Yes, that was what that person said. And I was like, how can you ever say that? How can you ever say that? It's not fair, it's clearly not fair. And then I thought, okay, now, where is that in me? Where is that way of thinking in me? When do I think that? You know, I measure with two kind of measurements, like when I judge somebody for doing something, and actually I also do the same. And when do I do that? And actually I think that I also do that sometimes. And yes, so then it brings it back to me, and it brings it back to people around, and then there is something that I can change in myself. Because I think why somebody gets powerful is because the things they do, they resonate with all the hearts around. There's some hearts who, maybe secretly, but secretly also think the same, and that is why these people can get very big. And so what I can do is that it does not resonate with my heart, but I need to be honest. And I need to see that which part of that person do I also have, and when do I also think like that person or do like that person, and in my daily life find out the things that I do like that person, and then have the motivation to do differently, because then I see that, oh, this, if you make it bigger, it will get make the world really a bad place to live. So. Okay, I mean, this is, I don't know if it answers your question, but I understand what came up.
Yeah, I guess just kind of the question I had is about more like that point was, it was really poignant, what you just said. But what about external duty? Duty to others. How does that connect?
Because I think of this self-examination and how important it is. But in addition to the time we all spend meditating each day, for the layperson, probably maximum 30 minutes, we still have however many hours in a day to act mindfully, but then also in our jobs, in our education, perform acts of service. And I just want to know how you determine what you're going to do with your life. I asked this at a young person's retreat because I'm really confused.
Yeah, thank you, Breen, because I think I can feel that it's not easy when we look out into the world and we see the situation right now. and we feel that we need to do something. We cannot just sit there and contemplate, meditate, and enjoy, have peace, have joy. We get deep in our heart, we feel the pain, the suffering of people out there. For me these days, I also turn that grief, that pain in me, I ask myself, what can I do now to contribute to the peace and relieve the suffering of people out there in my daily life? So now, whatever I do, I will send this energy. After, for example, sitting, I will send this energy of peace that I have generated together with the Sangha to the people who are in difficult situation. So when I sit, I eat a bowl of food, I feel grateful, and may everyone has the chance to have enough, to have something to eat. So I live my life more, many times more, not only for me, more deeply, more fully, not only for me, but for those who are suffering, those who don't have that chance. And for me, the world out there are not separated from the world here. For me, I see very clearly that whatever I do here affect the world out there, like the same way the world out there is affecting this inner world. And in Buddhism, the world out there is a reflection of our collective consciousness. So I am part of this collective consciousness. And what is manifesting, I ask myself, in this collective consciousness? The seed of violence, the seed of anger, the seed of fear is manifesting collectively. So how, as individual, can I take care of the seed of war in me? I ask myself, do I make war within myself in this moment? Sometimes I see myself that I'm having a conflict within this body, with my brother and sisters, my friends. Like yesterday, I just had a kind of, I was unskillful, and I made a conflict with a friend who I appreciate so much. You see? So war is not far out there. War is very close. It's in here, it can be around, in our family, in our community. So in my capacity, I take care of war and peace in my capacity. I learn to make peace. For example, with that friend who I make war with, I was almost make war with. I learned how to say, to explain, to say sorry, to reconcile with that person, so that peace is re-established. So it's concretely, that is making peace. I'm contributing this energy to the energy of peace in the world. And collectively, together here, we are learning to make peace with ourselves, with our family. Because in fact, I want to save the world, but not my family. I don't want to be with my father. For example, I can love everyone except this person, for example. I don't know if you feel similar, but for me it was like that. I was very eager to save the world, to love everybody except this person. So sometimes like that. So I learn bit by bit to love, to make peace with this person within me. It's in me, it's a world, a community here. But that is the training. It doesn't mean that we have intention that we can do it. I remember my dad, when he wants me to come back home, for example, he wants me because I'm away for 4 years. After 3 or 4 years, then I have the chance to go for home visit. And he said, oh, I dream to see you at home. And then when I was at home, just a few days, he already made war with me already. You see, intention is not enough. We need to learn how to make peace. We need to learn how to love ourselves and love others. Intention is not enough. That's why we are here, to learn, to train ourselves, to be more mindful. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the question.
Thank you so much.
Dear Sangha, dear Tai, I wanted to ask, as far as I've understood true love right, it has to do a lot with non-discrimination. And what I feel a lot of times when we think about love, and especially attraction, it comes from patterns from old memories of the love we used to receive as children. And I oftentimes think that if you decide for a person, isn't it in itself an act of discrimination, because you choose that this person now deserves more of your space or more of your love than another person? And if this is in fact a little bit of discriminatory, then like my contradiction also I see is, if we would aim for the love that you want, like that Buddhism teaches, that you should love everyone the same way, and that sexual desire shouldn't come from craving this thing. And if we would all aim at being a monk or a nun, then we wouldn't reproduce. So that's for me kind of a contradiction, why I feel like if love is non-discriminatory and we all would act